Bible verse for this session comes from Exodus 14, verse 14. It's a verse very close to my heart. In English, it simply says that the Lord, all capital letters, Lord, you know, when it's written like this in English, then you know the Hebrew will be Yod He Vav He. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace, the English says. So let's see what the Hebrew says. So there's, I think, no uncertainty what there's no uncertainty what the first word of this verse is. If you're unfamiliar with this word, just go have a look at all the verses we've done so far. And you will see that many of them have this very special word in it. And this is the word Yod He Vav He, the name of our Creator, His covenant name. Yod He Vav He. So I don't think I need to explain Yod He Vav He to you guys again. But immediately you can see the first word starts with a Yod, right? And I hope you remember what that means. He will. We had in our previous verse, he will. He will. So this is actually the root word for war, milchama, for war, to fight. And yeah, if you have a close look, you see it's the same word for bread. Eh? So there's a connection in the root of the word war and the root of the word bread. Interesting thing to think about for a moment. Have you ever heard the Hebrew blessing? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Lechem, it's this word. Okay, so the Hebrew says yilachem, yilachem, which is connected with fighting, or I would actually, if I would have to translate this verse in my own words, I would say he will wage war for you, not just he will fight for you. Fight is like a very basic word in this case. I think I should put in fighting and also add wage war, because this is what it actually means. He will wage war for you. He will fight for you. It's much bigger than just raising your fists. It's a big thing that he's willing to do for us. So just remember the Yod in the beginning of a word. We had this example in the previous sessions verse many times. He sowed, he will do something. Yitzchak, he will laugh. And we also had this in the Aaronic blessing, Yevarechecha, Yodevave, Vayish Marecha, that Yeh in the beginning means he will do something. He will bless you, he will keep you. So he will fight for you, he will wage war for you. So in Hebrew, the word used here is the word that we already should know. If you practiced your 10 words, we just had li, lecha, lach, lo, la, lanu, lechem, lechen, lehem, lehen. I reminded you of them. We had shili, shilcha, but it's the same pattern. Lachem, la, la, meaning to, or even for in Hebrew. So for, and you is this chem part. It's the end of it. La chem. This has nothing to do with bread or war. Because if you remove this first part, it's lachem, lachem. You see? Same sound, different meaning, very big different meaning. But it's actually a bit poetic. Yod he vave yilachem lachem. Yod he vave yilachem lachem. He will fight for you. He will wage war for you. Beautiful. God will fight for you. So just to give a bit of context, this is the Israelites in Egypt. They are getting free, and Pharaoh is making life difficult for them. And you know the story of Exodus 14, and they had their Passover, and God gives them this promise. He will fight for you. Through Moses, he's saying, Yorevave yilachem lachem. And then he tells them something further. He's not just telling them, God will fight for you. He tells them, and you many of the words in the scripture we know, so that's why I chose the scripture, so that you can see biblical Hebrew has a lot of the words that we also used in today's Hebrew. And you, ve, and you, ve, atem, and you, ve, atem. And then I'll read the last word just now. I just want to show you again the roots of words are so important. So if you are looking at the word wage war, we just said it means bread. But if you look at the word lachem and atem, they don't actually have roots because they are special words coming from this pattern. The pattern, ani, ata, at, hu, hi, anachnu, atem, aten, hem, hen. Li, lecha, lach, lo, la, lanu, lechem, lechen, lehem, lehen. These patterns that we should learn, and you should learn them to the extent where you can say them as rapidly and as easily as I'm also saying them. It will just make Hebrew for you easier as you go along. But this is all modern Hebrew back in the time of Moses. Beautiful. Okay, and you, ve'atem, ve'atem. What will you do? God will fight for you. What is expected of you? This is actually a very strange Hebrew word. You can understand what the meaning is, but I wouldn't have used this word specifically. So the English translates it to and you shall hold your peace. And if I remember correctly, if you read this in some other languages, um, it actually says, and you shall be quiet. You must be still. Be still. God will fight for you. So go look in Afrikaans, go look in German, in any other language that you might know. If you only know English, then it's okay. I'm going to be showing this to you. Um, but just remember that these two words is written in the plural. This is male plural, male plural, male plural. Lachem and atem. It's important to know male plural. And then it says here, tacharishun. So, ve'atem tacharishun. So, tacharishun is a strange Hebrew word. And if you go back to its root, which you actually see here in the middle, it has to do with being deaf, actually. It has to do with being deaf, having this deafness. And I I agree with the translations when it says, and you will be silent. I like that translation because that's what it's trying to convey, I guess, through saying Tacharishun. Um, I don't really agree with the English translation that says, hold your peace. I'm going to write it here and then say, no, I don't like hold your peace, because that's not really what it's saying. But I understand that the translations differ so much, because you don't want to hear a translation that goes, God will fight for you, he will wage war for you, and you will be deaf. Doesn't sound right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it should. Because this is what this word in its basis means. And I think what maybe is said here, and the word silence is in there. So deafness is not, I'm not even going to write being deaf. It's not shalom. Don't worry, shalom is not in there. But the hold your peace, being silent, it's this idea of actually being reliant on God. And so it's saying, don't you say a word, don't you do anything, just be there where you are. And so the Israelites, they went through this difficult time, and God fought for them, because it was expected that they do not do anything. It was expected that they don't have fear, maybe, that they don't listen to what people are saying around them, that they don't yeah, listen to the enemy. So that's a good one, not listening to the enemy, being deaf towards what the enemy is saying, but being focused on what God is doing. So I really believe this is a big scripture for us today, to say, I'm not going to listen to what this world is saying. I'm not going to make my life difficult through worrying all about the things happening around me. I'm going to put my trust in God. And we've learned this in previous scripture as well in the Hebrew language, that God can be trusted. We must just give it to him and not take it back. We must give our trust to him and not say, I'm taking it back. And we often, I'm in a position myself at this stage, and the Father ministers to me so amazingly through these scriptures that I'm also teaching to you. I'm in a position myself at this stage where, in this time, I feel like I want to go fight. I want to go wage war to get justice done, to get righteousness done. And then the Father gave me this scripture, and yeah, I know it's for the Israelites originally, but I'm taking it for myself as well, saying, if it was true for them, it's true for me. He will wage war for me. He will fight for me. I don't need to fight for myself. And I'm willing to remain silent. I'm willing not to listen to what others are saying, but I will wait for him, what he's going to do. And this is an incredible scripture to teach us about relying on God, trusting on God. This is what the Israelites were supposed to do. But when we look back, we say, yeah, the Israelites, they should have just waited. God would do all the work. But it's difficult when you're in the position. It's difficult when you're there. When we look at the Israelites complaining in the desert, we're like, why are they complaining about water again? God will provide. Just read the next chapter. Why are they complaining about food? Why are they complaining about meat? Because we know the rest of the story, right? So, do you know the rest of your life story? Do you know the next chapter in your life? Be silent, trust God, don't listen to the world out there. He will fight for you. Don't complain, don't moan, don't be in this place of saying, I don't know where I'm going. Just trust in Him. And I'm not only speaking to you guys, I'm speaking to myself as well. It's so important that we put our faith in Him, saying, He, Yod He Vave, the Creator, will fight for us. Hallelujah. I hope you enjoyed that. I always enjoy working through the Hebrew scriptures with people. We have a lot of this material available on Kol Kala. If you'd like to visit our website, kolkala.com, you can see more of this. And also, if you are interested in Hebrew classes, to learn Hebrew, to read and write, speak Hebrew, you can actually write to me at tian@hebrewpeople.com, and I will help you to get to a place where you will be able to read and write and maybe join a class and so on. For us, it's a tremendous blessing to be part of people's lives in this sense, and I hope then that we will speak to you soon. If you're interested in supporting us financially, people often ask us, you can visit hebrewpeople.com and you'll see there's a donate button, and you can click on that donate button and you'll see that all the banking details are there. But we appreciate all of you, and as we say in Israel, Shalom.